Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode. I'm very excited to be giving you the information we're going to be covering this week because it is so vital and not necessarily commonly used in the world of ketogenic fasting. And it can help handle things that people never get to or never get to accomplish in their journey towards better health. So what I'm talking about is specifically healing and concentrating on the gut before we get into advanced ketogenic or fasting techniques. The reason for this is that almost all, or perhaps all in a indirect manner, of the gains that you can get from fasting and from the ketogenic diet stem from or depend on the health of your gut, the health of your digestive system. And you don't always, when you start to go for body composition or improving energy, there's often a tendency to go, okay, I'm going to go keto, I'm going to do some fasting, and I'm just going to make my body burn fat and everything will be good. But in truth, if you don't concentrate on building up the cellular machinery and the digestive enzymes that are needed to allow you to burn fat for fuel, to allow you to digest and absorb nutrients correctly, you'll never get as far as you could, and perhaps never even get the things that you want handled fully handled. So I'm going to go over a little bit of theory as we go through this, but mostly I'm going to give you very actionable techniques and activities that you can use in your day-to-day living in order to improve your gut health and truly become fat and keto adapted so that you're able to get the full benefits of a ketogenic fasting lifestyle. So first of all, I'd like to go over when a person is able to burn fat for fuel. This is what we call fat adapted. So this is kind of a low level, beginner level. You're able to burn fat for fuel. Maybe you're getting rid of some body fat. That's great. But what we're really looking for is a full keto adapted state where your body's able to get into deep therapeutic levels of ketosis and thereby solving some of the underlying health issues that you may be having and getting to the point where your body is just operating in tip-top condition. You're able to engage in life as you would like to and accomplish the things you would like to. You have the energy and the drive to really be present and be effective in your life and enjoy your life and be happy. So this doesn't necessarily happen by just dilly-dallying around with a little bit of a higher fat diet and lowering your carbs. You actually have to be strategic and know what you're doing, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. So first thing we're going to talk about is becoming fat adapted as the first stage, and starting by doing a keto biotic diet wherein you're building up your microbiome, you're building up your gut health. The magic formula for this, and this has been used in other styles of diet and whatnot, but the magic formula is steamed veggies or veggies in a broth. So specifically, we're going to talk about meat stock versus bone broth and how to make meat stock with veggies that heals your gut. So just to clarify these two, they're often used interchangeably, but bone broth is the broth you get from boiling at a very low level or just up to where you're almost boiling. Bones, just the bones. We're not talking about the meat on the bones or anything. And doing this for a very long period of time, so you really get a lot of the mineral content and a lot of the marrow nutrients that you can get by low-level heat applied for a long time to bones. However, this is not what you want to start with when you're healing your gut. Yes, bone broth has lots of valuable proteins in it, has collagen in it, and has a lot of other nutrients that are very valuable to your body. However, if you haven't fixed your gut, you're not going to absorb the nutrients that you'll be getting from the bone broth, and you could even get side effects that are unnecessary to have, and in some cases harmful. In certain people with afflictions, the bone broth can be too much. It can be the minerals can be too intense for the body, and they cause an adverse reaction. So what we're looking for is starting out with prebiotic fiber from steamed vegetables that are easy to digest, as well as meat stock. And the meat stock is valuable because meat stock is when you cook at a low temperature, like a slow cooker set on low. It's great. Meaty bones with the cartilage still attached to the bones. So a chicken carcass that has been, you've eaten most of the rotisserie chicken, for example, and you've eaten most of the meat off of it. You've kind of cleaned up the bones. There's still some meat there, and all the tendons are still there. This is a great way to make meat stock. So what you would do is, for a period of about 1.5 to 4 hours, you would slow cook that, that carcass in water with a little salt, and you would make a meat stock out of it. And this is going to have more gelatin and more of the nutrients that you need to heal the gut. Specifically, the gelatin from the tendons and the connective tissues helps rebuild your gut lining. So this is the step before bone broth that isn't talked about for whatever reason. And if you do this at the same time or concurrently with having easily digested veggies, whether it's steamed broccoli or steamed greens or whatever, in as a soup or just, together with the meal, then you're going to be building up that gut lining and healing any beginnings or any instances of leaky gut that you may be having, or any other afflictions for that matter in the gut lining. So this is super important. This is where you start. It's called Keto Biotic, and you use meat stock and you use veggies. So the veggies could be cooked in the meat stock towards the end of it, or they could be steamed and added into the meat stock while you're eating it. But you want to combine those things. You don't want to start out with bone broth. As healing and as amazing as bone broth is, it's not the beginning of a gut healing journey. So that's where you start. You start with your meat stock and your veggies, and you just eat this for 3 to 4 weeks. Not saying you can't have other foods that you find satiating, but you want to make sure in at least 2 meals a day you have those steamed veggies and meat stock. Obviously, the rest of your foods should be as nourishing as possible. And if you can make some of the other foods that you're eating very tender cuts of meat or other things that are easy to digest, we're looking at foods that are not going to stress out your gut for a 3 to 4 week period. You know that, if you have XYZ foods, it upsets your stomach. So we'd be avoiding things that are common stressors for the gut. So we'd be avoiding high carbohydrates. I'm not saying you have to be keto even in the beginning here. We're just healing the gut, but you'd want to be at least moderate carbs, so at least around 50 grams of carbs a day, or maybe 60 or so, but not much higher than that. So fairly low carb, but you don't need to be down around 20 or 30 or even 40 necessarily. So we're not trying to get you keto adapted at this point. We're just trying to heal your gut. And this will lead to a faster and more permanent and more successful application of the ketogenic fasting lifestyle. Work on your gut first. So you could be having meats that have been, also cooked in with the meat stock that you made. So you make the meat stock, and then you could also make a soup that has meats that have been cooked until they're tender in there. You could be having different proteins that you enjoy, whether it's nut butters or other things, but only if you don't have an adverse reaction to them, only if you're not sensitive to nuts. So if you are, then you would avoid those. Another thing we commonly have people avoid is dairy, just period. Just for that few weeks while you're healing your gut, just don't have dairy. It's not to say that some dairy is very beneficial to healing the body in different ways, but it can also be a stressor, especially with the way dairy is processed and used, even the organic and grass-fed versions. So for a couple weeks, 3 or 4 weeks while you're doing this meat stock and veggie-based diet, you would avoid dairy. You also want to make sure you avoid oils that are hard to digest. So any vegetable oils, canola oil, any of these things. Obviously, expeller pressed, cold pressed, organic, virgin olive oil. That's a great option. Coconut oil is good. If you're going to have butter, try to have ghee instead, so you're avoiding the dairy aspect of it as much as possible. Beef tallow, lard, these are great for cooking and making foods with, so you can definitely have those. Again, stay low carb, but you don't have to be too strict about it. We're more concentrating on making sure you get in those veggies and meat stock for a 3 to 4 week period at least. If you can do longer, great. And judge it. You may go 3 or 4 weeks. Wow, I feel great. My gut's in a whole new level. You've been having prebiotics and you've been healing your gut. Now, after about a week or two of healing your gut with the meat stock and the prebiotic vegetables, you're going to start adding in probiotics, whole food probiotics. So think yogurts. We want to avoid dairy though, so it'd be a coconut yogurt or maybe an almond-based yogurt if you're not sensitive to nuts. Coconut's your best bet usually. Coconut yogurt. Coco June is my favorite. And then also other probiotic sources. So sauerkraut, raw sauerkrauts, of course, or any fermented vegetable. Pickles that are fermented, so like Bubby's Pickles is a common brand locally here anyways, in upstate New York. Also, you could get a kefir, low-carb kefir, so usually a nut kefir or a coconut kefir, not a dairy-based kefir. Just in the beginning here, it's not to say that later on you won't use the dairy kefir for the other benefits you get from fermented dairy. But to begin with, for this healing process, we're going to introduce things very, very specifically. You could also have beet kvass, which is a fermented drink made with beets, and it's amazing. It also supports the liver, so it's a great option. So get the procedure here, though. So we're starting out for the first week or two, depending on if you're having, some sort of symptom from doing the meat stock and vegetable-based diet, then, if you're still like, okay, my stomach's still adjusting to this, then go for 2 weeks. But somewhere around the second or third week, you would start adding in probiotics very gradiently, very baby step-wise. So, maybe a teaspoon or a tablespoon of sauerkraut with your meal. And then you could increase it. And you could add other probiotics. So only start with one probiotic. Don't add yogurt and kefir and sauerkraut. Start with sauerkraut and then add in the yogurt and then add in a kefir or a beet kvass, right? And just be gentle with adding in the probiotics. They do have a laxative effect. So if you do them too quickly, you're going to create an instance where your digestion gets thrown off because you're creating too much drainage, and that can be no fun as well, of course. So this is the strategy for 3 to 4 weeks. This will build up your gut, will give you a very healthy microbiome where you'll have lots of prebiotics in there that your gut is feeding on. Then you're going to add in probiotics to even increase the gut microbiome. And it's great to use different sources of probiotics. You get a wide variety of different healthy or friendly, gut-friendly bugs in there, so to speak. And then after you've done that 3 to 4 weeks, then you would start honing in on lowering your carbs more intensely. So you try to get down to your 20 or 30 grams a day of carbohydrates. And you try to use that new state of gut health to get the results you want to get, whether it's in body composition, your energy levels, or you're doing this for cognitive health reasons, whatever it might be, anti-aging, etc. So that's the strategy. You first work on gut health. Don't even worry about the carbs other than not having sugar and not trying to overdo it. Like keep it below 70 carbs a day if possible. It's totally possible. So just keep it below 70. And then build up that gut and then go into working on getting into deep ketosis and then start measuring, with a device like Keto Mojo, your blood ketones and glucose and seeing where things are at. First 4 weeks, don't even worry about it. This is kind of the magic strategy I've done with a lot of people who've been very resistant to getting into ketosis or have trouble fasting. After you've done that for 3 to 4 weeks, you can definitely improve your level or deep state of ketosis that you're able to get into. So even those who've been doing keto for a while, they're like, well, I can never get into therapeutic states of ketones. I only ever get up to 1 on the scale when I'm measuring my blood. So I want to get above that. I want to be in therapeutic ketosis, and I want to get the benefits of deep healing and cellular detox and cellular healing you can get from a ketogenic diet. Well, this is the magic formula. Back off of everything, do a keto biotic diet, go higher carb by having more veggies, and have that meat stock. You don't want to use bone broth for this process. It may be somewhat successful, but you won't get that deep healing of the lining of your intestinal tract that you want to get by having the gelatin you get from meat stock and having the different collagen types that you get only from meat stock. So you have to use the meat stock and add in those veggies, then add in the probiotics, and do this for 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks if you can. And you'll see a whole new ability to get into a deeper state of ketosis, better ability to change your body composition, put on muscle mass while also getting leaner, improved energy levels, improved cognitive function. I've seen people have their memory improve just by doing this keto biotic plan. They're like, wow, my memory improved. Well, remember, a lot of your hormones are made in your gut. A lot of the neuro interconnections that occur that make us able to function cognitively occur in the gut. It's often referred to as the second brain, right? So use these tools to get there. Now, a little secret, while you're doing the keto biotic diet, do intermittent fasting at the same time. So don't overdo it. Don't try to do 24-hour OMAD fast. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a 14 to 16 or even 12 to 16 hour intermittent fast, 4 to 5 days a week, with at least 2 days of solid 3 meals a day, no more than 12 hours of fasting. Now, the reason we're doing this is we want to give your gut time to take advantage of the healing process, but we don't also want to overstress it. So this will take us to a certain level of healing. Now, the next thing you want to do, let's say you do this keto biotic diet, you've now been doing keto for 8 weeks and you're in a deep state therapeutic ketosis. Now you want to try to extend your fast longer and longer, and now you will get the healing benefits of extended fasting. If you try to do extended fasting without healing your gut first, you're going to have less results. Lower amounts of healing will occur. So what you want to do, keto biotic, heal your gut, get into deep nutritional ketosis or a deeper state of ketosis at least, and then start extending your fast. If you can get up to a 36-hour or 48-hour fast, anywhere beyond 24 hours, your body's starting to produce stem cells. And the stem cells start in the gut. Your body first, for whatever reason, produces stem cells that are regenerated and able to heal parts of your body from your gut. And so you hit 24-hour fast, you're going to be healing your gut. But if you do it before you're keto adapted, before your gut is healthy and has the right microbiome, you're actually going to stress it and not necessarily contribute to the healthy state you want in your gut. Have you ever fasted? For those of you who fast, and then after the fast, you have trouble eating again, or things don't digest quite correctly? Well, you haven't healed your gut fully, and you're trying to stress it with fasting. So you've altered the sequence there. So you can get into really therapeutic, high therapeutic levels of ketosis and benefit from extended fasting if you do the keto biotic gut healing plan first. I just wanted to give you this information today. Hopefully it's super helpful. Use this, whether you're an advanced faster, advanced keto person, or you're just beginning. If you use this strategy first, you'll have amazing results, and you'll get amazing benefits from the program. Okay, thank you for listening to me today. Thank you for checking out this episode. I hope you got a lot out of it. For more information about fasting and the ketogenic diet, look at my Instagram account at Longevity Fitness and Health. Click in the bio and look for the Flexible Fasting System, where I teach all about how to use fasting for gut health and for overall general health and every possible benefit you can get from it. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a great rest of your day, and feel free to reach out to me anytime. Thank you. Bye.